right, you know what time it is. Live from the Bare Muscle Garage, it's time for Fit Crew. What do we got in store for you today? Let's go ahead and share this on screen. So for today's workout, we've got a nice gymnasty session for you here. We're going to be doing 5 rounds of 5 ring muscle ups and a 50-foot handstand walk. And you may be looking at this thinking, okay, he's finally lost his mind. I don't got rings. I don't got space to handstand walk, or even if I did, that's a weird move. Don't worry, guys. As always, we're going to warm up really well. Go through all the options that will allow you to do this workout or your version of it right where you are, using what you have and doing what you can. But let's go ahead and start this general warm up. Here we go. Let's get some arm circles going back, arm circles back. And as you know, my name is Coach Chris. I'm a level 3 CrossFit trainer, which means I've logged thousands of hours over many years, helping many people just like you live their best life through health and fitness. Let's move on to arms across the chest. Hug yourself, look. One of the ways I've been privileged to help you guys live life is through the Habit Master Challenge. And let's move on to the wrist wave here. And the Habit Master Challenge is one of the best ways to make you fully aware and accountable of your habits. How much work am I putting in to reach my goals? Am I drinking enough water? Am I getting enough sleep? Am I planning out my meals? And am I consistent with my flexi time and my WODs? Let's go ahead and move on to some high knees. High knees into chest, or we can do some high elbows, or we can do both if that's better for us. And how does the Habit Master Challenge work? Well, we earn points for each of those 5 categories whenever we reach the habit goal of the day. And depending on how many points that we earn in a given month, we can earn a particular badge that shows if we are consistent, committed, or if we have mastered our habits. Let's go ahead and move on to some calf raises. Up on the toe, back on the heel, up on the toe, back on the heel. Or if it works better, we can do some wrist extensions. The more badges we earn, the more results we see. It's as simple as that. And I've heard from so many of our Fit Crew family who said how much the Habit Master Challenge has really made them aware of the work they're putting in. And that awareness has led to more results and more accountability. Let's move on to some jumping jacks. Or we could do some stepping jacks if we want low impact. So, are you ready to take the Habit Master Challenge? All you need to do is get on. Please click the link that's in this video, or feel free to message me directly for more details. Let's go ahead and take a break from the warm-up, guys, and we're going to move on to the activation phase, which is where we're going to do a couple different moves that are going to help us to get specifically ready for today's workout. So the first move we're going to do is Supermans. And let's go ahead and have Bird Dog demonstrate 2 Supermans for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then these Supermans are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 Supermans together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are laying face down. We've got those arms out in front of us, legs back, and we are keeping those hands and those feet together, raising those arms and legs, holding the top for about 2 seconds before going back down. And so good job here on these Supermans. We got some reverse plank ups, and let's go ahead and have Twin 1 demonstrate 2 reverse plank ups for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the reverse plank ups are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reverse plank ups together. Now it could be that this is a bit hard on the wrists, in which case we may choose to do some glute bridges, just like we see Pippi doing here. We're laying on the back, pull the feet in close to the hips, and we're squeezing those glutes, getting the hips as high as we can each time. But if we're doing this as prescribed, we've got those hands on the ground to the side, legs out in front, squeezing those glutes, getting the hips as high as we can every single time, getting higher and higher each rep. And so good job here on these reverse plank ups. Next, we're going to do some bird dogs, and let's switch things up and have Pippi demonstrate a couple of these bird dogs for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then those bird dogs are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 bird dogs together. Now it could be that this is also hard on the wrists and on the knees, in which case we may choose to do the dead bug. And let's go ahead and have Pippi demonstrate a couple of dead bugs. We're going to be laying on our back and we've got the arms up, knees up, and then opposite arm, opposite leg. And this is the same benefit without as much tension on the wrists and knee. But if we're doing this as prescribed, we're on hands and knees, and we are raising opposite arm, opposite leg, holding the top there for about 2 seconds before switching sides. And so good job here on these bird dogs or whatever we choose to do. Next, we're going to do some walk the floors. Let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate one walk the floor for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then the walk the floor is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 5 walk the floors together. Now it could be that getting all the way down that chest to the ground is a bit of a challenge for us, in which case we have a couple different options here. We could choose to do the walk the floor just down to the plank position. And let's have twin one demonstrate what that might look like. We get those hands down to the feet, walk out to the plank, walk that back, and then stand up and reach back at the top. Or it could be that we choose to do an incline walk the floor, which we would be up against a counter or a sofa or whatever the case. And then we take a couple steps back and then a couple steps forward, and then we clap overhead. But if we're doing this as prescribed, we are getting all the way down, reaching those toes, walking it out, getting that chest on the ground, leading with the hips on the way up, and walking those hands back to the feet, reaching back at the top. And so good job here on these walk the floors, whatever version that we choose to do. Next, what I'd like you to do is let's go ahead and grab a light kettlebell, if you have one. By light, I mean 10 pounds or less, 5 kilos or less. If we don't have a light kettlebell, then any common light household object will do today. It could be an empty laundry detergent jug, an empty water jug, an empty purse. But if we don't have anything with a handle, then sure, it could be a light dumbbell, a shoe, a pillow, a teddy bear, as long as it's super light. So with this light kettlebell in hand, we're going to do some one-arm deadlifts with that object starting on the floor in between the feet. And let's go ahead and have Pippi demonstrate 2 deadlifts on the same arm for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then those 1-arm deadlifts are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 deadlifts, 5 on each arm. So a couple things to keep in mind. That object is starting on the ground in between the feet, and we've got those hips super low, but we've got the chest up, eyes up, shoulders back, and we're going to drive the ground away, getting to a fully standing position with those shoulders back at the top. And then, of course, on the way back down as well, taking a nice deep breath in before each lift. And so good job here on these deadlifts. Next, we're going to do some strict press, and let's go ahead and have twin 1 demonstrate 2 reps for us. From the seated position. Then the strict press is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 strict press, 5 on each side. So a couple things to keep in mind. How are we holding this kettlebell? We're holding the kettlebell from underneath. So notice we've got the hand on the handle and we're holding it from underneath, starting in the chest level and then pressing out overhead. It's very common for some people to hold it from the top like this. This is not what we want. We want to hold it from underneath and press upward. And so just like we see twin 1 doing here, she's got that kettlebell and she's holding that from underneath the hand, the chest to overhead, getting that at the top. And so good job here on this strict press. Well, that is it for the activation phase. We're going to move on to the movement prep, which is where we're going to practice specifically the 2 moves that we are doing in today's workout. The first move is, and the ring muscle ups are going to look like this. So as we can see, this is a very high skill body weight movement. And so we're going to start off with an at-home modification for this movement. That's also a good progression, whether we have rings or not. We're going to do some double kettlebell clean and jerks. So if you happen to have 2 light kettlebells of the same weight, let's go ahead and grab those light kettlebells. If we don't have 2 light kettlebells, then any matching object will do. It could be 2 light dumbbells, a pair of shoes, a pair of water bottles, whatever the case. So with these light kettlebells in hand, let's go ahead and watch as Pippi does the double kettlebell hang clean and jerk. And if we happen to be doing this from these, then that double kettlebell hang clean and jerk is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of this hang clean and jerk with the. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are initiating this by getting that object back between the legs, and then we are popping that up with the power of the hips, and then we are then jumping and punching again. So this is a 2-part movement. Throwing it back, squeezing in those glutes, and then popping and punching overhead. Getting it to the shoulders first, and then jumping and punching overhead. So good job here on these double dumbbell or kettlebell and clean and jerks. Now, at this point, if you happen to have a pull-up bar or some rings, perhaps you'd like to practice some modifications for the ring muscle ups that are also progressions. We can do perhaps some assisted pull-ups, just like we see Pippi doing here. She's getting some toes on that chair, and she's going to go to a full arm lockout, whether pull-up chip or chin-up grip. We're getting that chin above at the top. So going from full lockout below, using those toes as much as needed. And she's got a little bit of a jump there. Perhaps we can at some point get a higher level of assistance that'll help you not to have to do that little jump, but use what you have, do what you can. And then for the dip side of things, let's go ahead and do some bench dips. We can have Pippi demonstrate a couple bench dips here, which is basically like those reverse plank ups we were doing in the warm-up. So we've got those hips on the ground to start, and then getting the hips nice and high at the top. Elevated reverse plank up. And so good job on these pull-ups and dips. The second move that we are doing in today's workout is the handstand walk, which, as the name implies, involves kicking up into a handstand. And walking back and forth. Now, this is also a very high skill body weight movement. Many of us are working on our handstand skills. So we have a number of options today that are good progressions toward that movement or options to instead. So that first option is going to be that very same walk the floor that we just did in the warm-up here. And let's go ahead and have Twin One remind us what this walk the floor looks like. And so we might need to perhaps modify this by doing this off of an inclined surface. Let's have Twin One remind us. And at this point, if we want to include an optional push-up, we get those feet back, include a push-up, getting that chest to touch, walk it back in, and we can clap overhead. Now, if you feel really confident with the walk the floor, whether off the floor or off the incline, we can then start to take this to a wall walk. Let's go ahead and have Twin One demonstrate a wall walk here. Now, this is also a very high skill body weight movements. And we prefer, if you've not gotten upside down before, that we actually learn in a private session. We have more information on private sessions. Feel free to click that link or message me directly if you want more confidence and coaching to get upside down. But if you haven't done this before today, let's stick to the walk the floor option for today. And from the seated position, that walk the floor, if you want to include some dumbbells to make this more interesting, we can have some light dumbbells and then make that a little bit more challenging from the seated position. So let's have everyone join in here and let's do 3 reps of the wall walk if you feel comfortable doing that, or the walk the floor. Now it could be like, I do feel comfortable walking up the wall, but not quite getting all the way nose to wall like we saw Twin One do. It could be that we decide to do a low wall walk. Let's go ahead and have Twin One demonstrate here. So that's where we lead with the hips first, get the feet on the wall, 1, 2 steps with the hand, and then 1, and then back, right back down, boom, chest to the ground. But if we feel comfortable getting all the way up, getting that nose to the wall, just like Bird Dog has been working on here, we always lead with the hips and the legs first. And we are walking those hands back. And notice also, she's been doing this for a little while and she understands the importance at there. And she's getting all the way back, walking one step at a time. And she's been coached on this in semi-private sessions, which is why she feels confident about this skill. Now, yet another option is to work on our handstand kick-up ability. And let's go ahead and have twin one. So the first thing we're going to do, and once again, if you have not been coached in private sessions, let's not do this, but we want to spot our distance away from the wall. So we're going to get our fingertip on the wall and our elbow back, and we're going to find the cubit, which is the distance from the elbow to the fingertip. And that's where we're going to place our hands on the ground. And that's where she's going to look, place her hands, and then do that kick up, driving the heels into the ground. And she's working on that handstand kick up. And I'd like to challenge you now, twin one, to take one heel off the wall and kind of float there as long as you can. And then maybe the other. There we go, working on the handstand stability. And that is yet another option today to work on our handstand skills. If you've been coached in private sessions and you feel comfortable. Now, from the seated position, we already talked about the weighted walk the floor option with those light dumbbells. But another option, if you happen to have a chair with handles, what I'd like you to possibly do is to work on that dip position, perhaps getting those hips up if you can, pushing down on those handles, getting as high as you can each time. And we're going to do 10 dips each round for the handstand walk. But now it's ramp up time. If you've been earning badges and you'd like to add some weight to those kettlebell clean and jerks to do either the scaled, intermediate, or RX weight, then let's start to gradually add some weight, doing about 3 to 5 practice reps at a time, adding a little bit of weight each time until we get to the weight that we want to use for the workout. But if we have not been earning badges, or we're just getting back into this after a long time off, then please, let's not add any weight. That super light weight that we were just doing in the warm-up is going to be more than enough for us today. It's very important that we have the right form and consistency with all of our habits before we've earned the right to add or reintroduce intensity, such as by adding weight or going fast. And whether we're adding or not, let's pay close attention to the following checklist. Number 1, please make sure your device is fully charged or plugged in so we can get through this whole workout without losing you. Number 2, let's grab some water. Let's take a sip. And let's make sure we got our water nearby so we could take a sip as needed all throughout the workout. Number 3, I'm going to give everyone a 3, 2, 1, go countdown. And that's how you can synchronize your timer with mine if you choose to use one. Number 4, music. Super important. We've got a lot going on today. We're going to need some full focus. We're going to need our playlist to put us in the zone. And the great thing is you can listen to your music. You don't have to listen to my music. You can blast your music as loud as you want. You can still hear me helping you throughout the workout. And lastly, how are we keeping track of these rounds? This is a 5-round workout. All of us are doing possibly different options here, so it's going to be easy to lose track of where we are. So let's definitely today have some type of system in place to which option we're using and how far along in the workout that we are. And the best way to do that is having this workout written down close by. So if you're a teacher's pet like Millicent winning the award today, or Bird Dog very close second, we've got all of these teacher's pets ready with their whiteboards. Let's go ahead and take a teacher's pet picture just to show how prepared you are. Teacher's pet picture in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and bring the workout back on screen one more time, and then we'll get going. So in just about a minute, we're going to start this timer, and we're about to do this crazy workout of 5 rounds of 5 ring muscle ups and a 50-foot handstand walk. Now, these are both very high skill movements, so let's just remind ourselves of the different options we have for these movements. For instance, on the ring muscle ups, most of us are doing the at-home option of doing the double kettlebell or dumbbell hang clean and jerks. I'm doing just 5 of those on each round. And let's really challenge ourselves on the weight on those, especially if we've been earning badges. Now, if we do happen to have a pull-up bar and or a dip station or a chair or a bench to do dips, then let's do those 5 pull-ups and dips using however much assistance is needed for those muscle ups. On the handstand walks, if we're not in walks, we could be working on our handstand kick-ups. Let's do 10 handstand kick-ups per round, either against the wall, or if we're feeling pretty confident, we can do a freestanding handstand kick-up if we've been coached privately on this. We could also do some wall walks. We could do 5 wall walks each round, getting as high as we feel comfortable. Let's really challenge ourselves at least first wall walk to get as high as we can, and then we can do some low wall walks. If we happen to be doing the walk the floor option, then also going to be 5 reps, but let's really challenge ourselves on these walk the floors to make these as good as form as possible, doing it to the ground if possible, getting the chest on the ground, leading with the hips on the way back up. If we do these walk the floors off of an incline, such as off a counter or off a sofa, let's do our best to challenge ourselves to use as low an incline as possible today. So your score is going to be the time it takes to get through these 5 rounds of 5 double kettlebell hang clean and jerks for most of us, and 5 wall walks or walk the floors for most of us. Perhaps 10 handstand kick-ups if we've been coached on this in private sessions. If you are good to go, give me a thumbs up over here and we will get this started. And I'm going to highlight twin 1 to get us going. So here we go, guys. 5 double kettlebell or dumbbell hang clean and jerks, and 5 wall walks or walk the floors, perhaps 10 handstand kick-ups if we've been coached on that privately. Starting in 10 seconds. Ready. 3, 2, 1, go. And we are off. And we got twin 1 using some heavy dumbbells on this. Team DNA as well, using some heavy dumbbells for these hang clean and jerks. And I love to see everyone keeping that chest up and not letting that weight take them down. And we are now moving into these options here. So we got twin 1 choosing to do the wall walk option. Get all the way up, getting that nose to the wall, all the way back down. We've got Team DNA doing some synchronized walk the floors. Let's really lead with the hips on the way up though, so not snaking or worming. Let's, on the way back up, lead with those hips. We got Bird Dog working on these handstand kick-ups. And so getting much more efficient with these. Pippi as well, working on these handstand kick-ups. And we've got Millicent doing some incline walk the floors. And we're all just showing up, doing what we can today, using what we have. And that's what counts, consistency over everything. So we're not afraid of these high skill movements. We show up, we do what we can today, we work on our skills, we get better and better. And we've got Pippi moving on to round 2. So she is doing these pull-ups and dips each round. And then all the way back down to full arm lockout. And it's important to change the direction, doing some chin-up grip, doing some pull-up grip, to truly build strength in that direction. And after those 5 pull-ups, she's now doing these 5 bench dips, all the way down, all the way up, round. Twin 1 finishing off these hang, clean, and jerks in this second round using some super heavy dumbbells. And just like that, we've got Team DNA on this second round of upside down skills. And good job getting those hands all the way back to the feet to the hips, over the shoulders, over the hands. Bird dog as well. Doing some handstand kick-ups over here. Working on those skills. Pippi as well. Doing some handstand kick-ups. Nice work here, guys. This is definitely a higher skill workout today. Those who've been doing this program for a while know that no day is the same. We have lots of different types of workouts in this, working on lots of different skills. And they all help us to use our fitness in interesting ways. And while window for today, my real target for all of us is skills on these. So I'm not as concerned about the time today. I really want us to push ourselves on the skill portion, to really try things that we haven't done before. And so we've got Team DNA doing these walk the floors still, getting all the way down, all the way up. Pippi on these handstand kick-ups. And then working on holding, see that she's working on holding that handstand off the wall. And so that is some skills there. Bird dog as well, working on these kick-ups. Getting much smoother with these. But nice work here. And we've got Twin 1 with some heavy dumbbells here, moving into this next round. And notice the footwork. You know, she has those feet only to let the dumbbells get back. But then as soon as she goes to jump and punch overhead, she brings those feet underneath for more power on the way up. So that's super efficient footwork. And Pippi's still working on these pull-ups and dips, doing some pull-up grip, some chin-up grip, getting that chin all the way above. DNA with some heavy dumbbells. And Dean is always a hero of do-it-yourself. At the pandemic, he did what he had to do, made some concrete dumbbells, and he's gotten so those dumbbells. So sometimes just for good old time's sake, he'll break those concrete dumbbells out in the warm-up. But this is just another example of consistency and progress. And Bird Dog also throwing around some heavy dumbbells here, keeping the chest up. As we throw those dumbbells back, we're still keeping the chest up, shoulders back. We're not letting that weight take us down. But awesome work here, guys. Working on these handstands. Pippi getting a couple second hold there at the top. And some of us are getting into this fourth or even the fifth round here. And we know what to do as we cross that finish line. We hit that buzzer, we yell time, we cheer on our family. But once again, I encourage you to linger in these skills today. We're not rushing through this. You know, we're challenging ourselves on the weight of these dumbbells. We're challenging ourselves on the skill of these handstands. or whatever version of move that we choose to do here. But nice work here, guys, on these walk the floors or wall walks, whatever version we are choosing to do. But nice work. Let's go. Let's go. All the way up, all the way down. Moving these dumbbells, getting upside down. Awesome work here, guys. Let's keep that midline nice and tight. Use the power of the hips, the power of getting through these rounds here. Some of us on this last round working on this last set of handstand skills, whether it's kick-ups or wall walks or whatever we choose to do. Let's keep working on it. But nice work here, guys. Here we go, and it looks like Team DNA across the finish line with that victory dance. Twin One choosing to work on some handstand kick-ups in this round. Holding the seconds off the wall. Pippi on these handstand kick-ups. Looks like Millicent's also across the finish line. Great job there, Millicent. Bird Dog with it. Pippi as well, full focus. Looks like Bird Dog just crossed the finish line. So great job, Bird Dog. Pippi almost there. And it looks like Twin One on what looks like the last round here. And Pippi across the finish line. Let's cheer on Twin One. She's been moving some heavy dumbbells here, guys. And wall walks are not easy. She told me it's her favorite move of all time, but it is very taxing. So that's why she is now working on these handstand kick-ups. Boom, getting those heels to the wall.
Oh, you got this, Denise.
Love to hear from our cheering squad. Let's hear from this cheering squad.
Go Twin One. Woo! Doing great. Almost there. You're at the end.
You get it, Twin One.
Just a couple more kick-ups left.
Yep.
Super smooth.
Look at it.
Stability, working on that, working on that.
There you go. Holding it.
Second handstand hold there.
Yeah. One more. You got it.
Kick-ups in.
There you go. You did it. One more.
Just a couple more left.
Okay.
Boom. Super smooth. Holding that out.
Give it extras.
Nice work there, Twin One. Almost at the 10.
Oh, she's so intense.
Handstand kick-ups. And here we go. Nice hold there. Boom, Twin One across the finish line. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, that is a WOD that definitely turned our world upside down, but we came out the other side better for it. And now we're at the best part of the workout, which is the cool down stretch. And this stretch helps us to fight soreness, increase flexibility, so we can come back day after day, staying consistent and committed. So the first stretch we're going to do today is the child's pose. And that's going to be where we get those arms out in front of us, hips back, and we are sinking into this stretch like this. Points if we can get our hands up on an elevated surface and then lower that chest like this. And while we're doing this, let's hear some high-low buffaloes. So let's hear first from bird dog. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're gonna actually get those arms up and pull back like this. But what is your high-low buffalo bird dog?
Let's see, my low. Oh, this may sound strange, but it was because I wanted another movement in this so I could have more of a break from getting upside down. But the high also was getting upside down because I made some progress, got off the wall a little bit. So it's exciting when you're in this program to modify to your liking or your abilities and see progress within that realm. So that's exciting. That's also my buffalo. Each workout, it's like seeing the progress. I get surprised by myself, like, oh, I can do this. I can push myself a little bit more each time. So I like that.
Great work pushing yourself as well. Today was much more about pushing those boundaries and just trying new things, which you certainly did. So good job, bird dog. Let's go ahead and switch to the puppy dog. So we're going to shift those hips forward, hips over knees, chest into the ground like this. And while we're doing this, let's hear a high-low buffalo from twin one. If we're doing this from the seated position, we're getting those hands to the shoulder blades and pulling back like this. But what is your high-low buffalo twin one?
My high was the dumbbell clean and jerks, hang clean and jerks. And then the low was definitely those wall walks. Those were super challenging. The buffalo is that I'm able to get more wall walks in than what I used to. I could see the difference. But yeah, definitely working on that handstand hold was also challenging. But, little by little, I could see the progress.
And that's really all we ask for. Lots of little things, little improvements. That's much more sustainable. And it's just amazing to see how far we've come in the years at this point. Years we've been doing this program. So good job there, 21. Let's go ahead and switch to thread the needle. So we got one arm forward, other arm through, sinking into this like this. Now, at the beginning of the episode, we talked about how the Habit Master Challenge has helped hundreds of our Fit Crew family around the world to stay on track. And we've got Pippi, who has earned a whole lot of badges, logged a whole lot of points. And so, how does the Habit Master Challenge help you to stay on track? And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're getting the one arm across the chest, pulling back like this.
I love it because it was nice, at first, just like it was my checklist, going through the checklist, how am I doing on everything? And now today, I even find that I've been doing that long enough. I'm liking it because I'm seeing the correlation between things of, oh, hey, there was a couple weeks where just things came up, didn't get as many of my check WODs in, but then I started to notice that my sleeping was not being able to be checked off. So it was like, oh, hey, there's a correlation between when I'm not getting those in like I should, that's affecting my sleep and it can affect other things. The same way you can look with the water and things. So I've really found it more of, not just, hey, I checked that box, but hey, I'm checking the boxes and how am I feeling? How am I doing? How am I feeling with that? And so I'm liking it to help me to continue to do that.
Very important insight. All of these habits stack on each other and affect one another. One box connects the other. So once we can connect these boxes, then we start to see improvement in all of these areas. So good job there, Pippi. And let's go ahead and thread the needle on the other side here. So we've got the other arm forward, other arm through, sinking into this like this. And Millicent is another pillar of our community, a habitual habit master. And We'd love to hear from you, Millicent. How has earning these badges helped you to stay on track? If we're doing this from the seated position, we're now getting the other arm across the chest, pulling back like this.
Hi, I'm Millicent, and it has helped me tremendously when I pay attention to the fact that I'm crossing out putting my X's on and seeing where I'm working at. I've done it so much until now it's just a part of me. Not only am I doing it, but it makes me track it so that I can see it. I have papers, I put it on so I can look at it. And then where I see I need to make improvements in other areas, I'm able to do that. But at least 3 of the habits, it's just natural to me. They're always something that I'm doing, especially like with the water. I take my water with me so that I can make sure that I can do it. So I try to control the things that I can control. And when there's things that I can't do, I don't worry about that. But the most important things is that it's a habit, and it's something that I do, and it's so natural that it just comes to me and I do it. So I appreciate being able to pay attention to those habits because they really has improved my life in various ways.
And thank you so much, Millicent, for those words of wisdom. Yes, these habits end up becoming a part of our lives to the point where, hey, wrenches our way, but we don't let it completely derail us. We just focus on what we can, and we've built up a buffer of good habits that protect us against the occasional wrench that happens. Well, that's our WOD, that's our stretch, that's our high-low buffalo. You know what's left, guys. This sweaty selfie, because does this count if we don't take this selfie? Let's flex on the camera and let's take this sweaty selfie. Sweaty selfie in 3, 2, 1. And crazy face. And let's put the fists in the middle for the cheer. On 3, 2 claps. Fit crew. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Fit crew.
Thank you guys so much. If you enjoy this program, then please give this channel a subscribe, a like, and a share. Thank you very much, and see you next time.